So, SpaceX is probably the most hyped IPO listing that the stock market has ever seen, and I'm saying to not buy the SpaceX IPO. I believe that SpaceX is massively overhyped. In the European Union, a lot of brokers, especially the type of broker platforms that make trading and investing accessible for the poor, like Trade Republic, for example, they make an early access to invest in the SpaceX IPO possible. Okay, so they are playing with the FOMO, with the fear of missing out, and the greed of the poor people to invest into the SpaceX IPO and to hope that it will go to the moon and that they are going to double or triple their capital in a very short term. But if we look at the history for the most IPOs, the stock will most likely rise in the very beginning as there's a lot of excitement pumped into this IPO listing. And as we know, SpaceX is the most hyped IPO ever, okay? So it is very possible that the stock might rise in the very beginning, but then eventually it is going to drop, most likely, as we can see from IPO listings in the past. Most likely, the stock is going to pull back and sometimes even pull back massively as the excitement reduces. So, whatever is going to happen, for sure, it is not a consistent income. It is not consistent. It's just pure gambling because let's look at your outcome. If you invest 5,000, 10,000, or even $100,000 or more into SpaceX, what is the possible outcome for you? The stock has never been listed. It doesn't even exist so far. So what is the possible outcome? Option A, it is going to go up. Okay, so SpaceX goes live and it is going to rise. The stock will go up. So all that happened is you got lucky once. If you manage to sell it, okay, if you will be too greedy and just hold forever, it's most likely going to pull back. But let's say it is going to go up. All that happened is you got lucky once. So you can say Phantom Capital said it is going to go down. Don't buy SpaceX IPO. That's all right. But all that happened is that you made money once. It's not consistent. You just got lucky. There was no plan and no knowledge behind it. The other option is it is going to go live and it will just immediately drop, and all that's going to happen for you is that you sit on an unrealized loss forever because SpaceX just dumped in the beginning and you're just sitting on an unrealized loss that you can either way sell and you will realize it, or your money is basically just dead, in that opinion. That's just overall not a good outcome for me. That is comparable to going to the casino. It's just pure gambling. And I wouldn't want to invest my hard earned capital into this stock, especially not at this time. So, what can we do instead? Well, let's just invest in the premium cycle. This is a strategy that I am teaching in my community where I am consistently outperforming the S&P 500, where I am consistently generating a monthly income. This is a much safer and more conservative strategy. So what we basically do is we look for a very stable, a very safe underlying stock where we sell a cash secured put on. We obligate ourselves to buy that stock possibly if it ever drops to our strike price. And for this commitment, we collect the premium upfront, which is going to be our income. And then we can just lay back for some time and wait for the expiration date to come around. And there's only two outcomes. Either way, we are going to get assigned our stock at a discount. Okay, so we will end up buying 100 shares as options come in a 100 pack. We're going to buy 100 shares of a stock that we already wanted to own, and we even own it at a discount, and now we can run covered calls. So we are committing ourselves once again to the upside and saying we are willing to sell our 100 shares if that stock ever rises to our strike price. Then we are going to sell that stock, okay? And for this commitment, we are going to collect the premium once again. And if we end up having to sell our stock, then we will just go down here and sell a cash secured put again. If we don't get assigned on our cash secured put, we can immediately go down and sell a new cash secured put on the same stock or a different stock that we possibly want to own. Okay, so this is a much more conservative way where we can choose much safer stocks that exist for a longer time, that are more conservative. And if you ever want to do this strategy, the premium cycle on SpaceX, which possibly will happen in the future, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 1 year, maybe in 2, but if you ever want to do this strategy on SpaceX, I recommend to wait for the IPO to be listed, to get some history of SpaceX, where the price is going to move, what is a share price for SpaceX that the market is actually going to accept, where we can see some type of stable support level. And after some history, which can be 6 months or 1 year or even longer, SpaceX might even qualify for my risk level to say, okay, I'm willing to sell a cash secured put on SpaceX, but I need to see some data, I need to see some price action with SpaceX before I ever consider SpaceX a valid stock to invest into or to sell a cash secured put on. So if this is something that you're interested in, to generate a consistent monthly income with the premium cycle, then join my community. I have a full course there where I'm going to teach you the premium cycle, very detailed. And we are also having a live community where we are sharing trade setups and live trades in the market right now, where we are generating consistent monthly returns on your hard-earned capital. So click the link in my bio and join my community to generate a safe monthly passive income.